Welcome to Destination Linux, the misty highlands of open source immortality, where every commit echoes across the centuries, and there can be only one true kernel. I'm your Connor McLeod this week, Ryan, swinging the katana of Linux with my immortal clan, ready to take heads and shout, there can be only one.
Only one.
Jill is our Ramirez, the ancient wisecracking mentor with a vault of vintage PCs, an animation professor's flair, schooling young immortals faster than she can flash a katana and drop a perfect one-liner. Her creed, if it's not open source, it's just a Kurgan waiting to lose its head. Jill, that's very violent of you. I'm surprised. I like it, though. If you can't tell, our theme's Highlander, and it's going to make sense when we get into what we're talking about, because this week's gathering, we're unleashing my infamous holiday gift guide for the geek in your life who has everything. We're going to figure out how to get that geek in your life the right geek presents. This is also a way of me saying, here's all the things that I bought myself that I love this year in many ways as well. So you can trust that this is good stuff. This is good geek certified stuff here. And then, Jill, you're going to relive your own legendary meeting with Linus Torvalds and unpack the recent Linus and Linus summit that set the whole world's timeline on fire.
Yes.
Plus, more sparks from the Highlands. So raise your katana, sync your repos, and remember, in open source, in the end, there can be only one. Let the quickening begin. This is Destination Linux. So today we receive feedback from John, who says, I have an older Dell laptop that runs Windows 10, but is not eligible for Windows 11. John, a lot of people are finding themselves in this exact same spot. And thank you, Microsoft, for sending us so many new customers, I think, to the Linux sphere. So appreciate that. Very frustrating, though, because think about how many fantastic, powerful, really, really great spec Windows 10 machines are out there that cannot run Windows 11. They're perfectly fine. And what can happen is a lot of people just throw them in the dumpster or they sit them in their closet forever. And because they're afraid to give them away. I know a lot of people who've told me they've kept all of their laptops because they're afraid to give them away because someone's going to steal their personal information off of them. And so these laptops, so they go buy a new laptop, and these perfectly fine laptops are just sitting there unused. And what a perfect use case for Linux, which is what they're saying here. I'm looking at two different Linux replacements, the Zorn OS or Winix. I tested both, and I'm not sure which is best for me to install. The laptop is mostly used for email and website access. So perfect use case, I think, for this, for Linux. Obviously, it can do well more than email and web browsers. It can do gaming. It can do everything now, but it's going to obviously be able to work on this hardware perfect. I don't have experience personally with Winix, and it might be a fantastic distro. However, based on their website, winix.org, being hosted solely on SourceForge, and there not being a lot of information, I didn't see a lot of support pages, forums, or otherwise when I was doing a search for this. So I have to, by default, recommend Zorn OS. Zorn OS has done incredible things. They've achieved over 1 million downloads in their latest release, probably far more than that at this point, but I know they hit the 1 million mark, which is incredible. It's stable. It's lightweight. It's going to run amazing on your Dell laptop. Since your Dell laptop could run Windows 10, I know that automatically it can run perfectly on that laptop because Zorn is a lot more lightweight than Windows 10 is. So you're not going to have any issues there. They also have incredible Wine compatibility layers to run a lot of Windows-only programs as you transition through. And if you do want to get the maximum speed of like, hey, I don't want any distractions, I just want speed of light and a very basic desktop, they have a light edition as well, which features XFCE. It's not going to be as pretty out of the box, although Zorn does an amazing job with XFCE, and I happen to Love
Yes.
XFCE. It was one of my first loves, I think, in a desktop
Yeah.
ever. So, no shade being thrown. XFCE is amazing. But if you want like that really refined, beautiful graphic view, go with the regular version. If you want ultimate performance, go with their light edition, and it's just going to cook on there, but may not be as pretty,
Mhm.
but you can do everything you want to do, and you can make it as pretty as you want. It's definitely very, very customizable. That's my thoughts, Jill. I don't know if you have any different advice because you may be more familiar with Winix. I wasn't.
Yeah, I have used Winix, but I completely agree with you, Ryan. There's just so much more community support around Zorin OS.
Yeah.
It is, and it's whenever we've had this anyone from Zorin on this podcast, we get a lot of views because there are
Yes.
so many people using it. It's one of the top downloaded for new users.
This incredible podcast has had the creator of Zorn on this podcast, as I recall.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
RTM.
Yes, we're amazing. Wow, look at us. Look at us go. So go back and look at that episode. Watch that episode where we interview and the Zorn OS creator, and then you can kind of, see if that really speaks to you. And I think it will. Because I remember after that interview, Jill, I went and installed Zorn, and I was on Zorn for months. I loved it. It
Yeah,
was
you were.
super stable.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not Arch. When they create an Arch variant, I'm going to be super happy. But right now, it's not Arch, so I have to be on my Arch, Jill. I have to have my Arch,
Yes.
like you're saying.
Arch.
Arch is my baby. I did find a way to slip it into the episode after all, didn't I? That's how it works. Thank you so much for the comment. It was awesome, and a lot easier to answer than last week's comment, which
Yes.
we got a lot of great feedback. I was surprised, Jill. I thought I was going to get just pwned in the comments because anytime I get on a soapbox, people really want to let's humble that nerd. But this time it seemed like most people agreed. So there you go. That's that. If you want to send in your comments, go to destinationlinux.net/comments or destinationlinux.net/forum. We'd love to hear from you. The good, the bad we throw away, the good we keep and we read on the show. I'm kidding. Obviously last week, that's not true. But we really do love hearing from you. You guys are a part of this show. And Jill and I are doing something really different right now. We are going back to our open source roots. We're trying our best. We want to produce this entire show in an open source format, which means right now the video may look different to you than it's ever looked before. And that's because we're using OBS Ninja, which is an amazing open source project that works off the back of the amazing open source OBS. Yes. And it requires a lot more setup, a lot more skill, but we're trying it because it's just very important that anytime we're over here talking about the greatness of open source, that this entire show is created in open source. In fact, our note-taking app, where we do all of our show notes, everything is open source. My teleprompter that has stuff that's on it, the bullet points and stuff, is running on an Android device that uses EOS as an example. And EOS is what's transmitting that into the teleprompter. Jill, I'm so open source. They should call me the open source king.
Oh,
no,
yes.
Not yet.
I agree. Well, I agree, but we're not fully there, but we're getting there.
We're getting there. Yeah. We got lazy on this show. There was so much going on and so many changes that we kind of we'll utilize this thing and we'll use this thing. And some of the times that's easier. But I think we're going to get more production quality and we're going to be able to do cooler things once I learn what the heck I'm doing. That's what I think will happen here.
You're doing great, Ryan.
I'm trying, Jill.
And so am I.
You are doing great. There's no doubt about that. All right. So, as Linux users, we know what's up. Security is non-negotiable. But with threats getting smarter, your security tools need to keep pace without dragging your systems down. And traditional agents, they slow you down. They leave blind spots. And it's time for a smarter approach. And that's why Destination Linux is proud to be sponsored by Sandfly Security, a revolutionary agentless platform designed for Linux. Go right now to destinationlinux.net/Sandfly and see how Sandfly can transform your security strategy. And if you're a business, you especially need to be looking at Sandfly because all the craziness going on right now in the cybersecurity world, And the good news is they have a free trial for you to check it out. And Timothy Lisko of DigitalOcean has also been a sponsor of this very podcast. Says Sandfly is one of the most exciting pieces of security tech they've seen recently. We're excited not only to be a customer, but also offer an integrated solution to our customers through the DigitalOcean marketplace. This technology addresses Linux security in a really novel way. One of the cool things is Craig has created several videos out there on YouTube for Sandfly for installing it. He has the second part of the video is out there now. So go check it out. It's very easy to set up on DigitalOcean. I love his videos out there because it just shows how quickly you can get this amazing piece of software up and running. Sandfly doesn't just detect and respond, revolutionizes security. You got SSH key tracking, password auditing, drift detection, covering threats from every angle, whether your systems are in the cloud, on-premise, or embedded devices. Sandfly ensures they're all secure without the headaches of agent-based solution. Experience security that's not just effective, but gives you peace of mind. No agents, no downtime, just cutting-edge protection.
And the home edition of Sandfly Security is now available. And not only that, to all our listeners of Destination Linux, they have an incredible offer for you of 50% off if you use the discount code Destination50. Dive into the future of Linux security at destinationlinux.net/Sandfly. That's destinationlinux.net/SANDFLY and see how Sandfly can transform your security strategy. Ryan, what do you have up next? Something very exciting.
I do, but I want to talk about something depressing because Jill, you're too happy. You're too happy right now. I need to bring it back down. There's too much energy, and then I'll bring you back up. It's kind of like this episode, we're going to take people for a ride. And
yeah.
What's on my mind before we get into the gift giving guide, and I guess it could technically be a part of it, is RAM would be a great gift for somebody, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, especially at 500% higher rates now.
Oh my gosh. You'd have to be a millionaire now to give your friends RAM for a holiday gift. And
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone's following what's happening, but I've been a semi-proponent of AI. We've had many topics, many conversations, guests even, to come on and talk about AI. And I say semi-proponent because I believe AI has 100% going to change and has changed the way the world is going to operate in many facets. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's where I'm kind of on the fence at times with it.
Yeah.
There are some really good things AI is potentially capable of doing, curing diseases, helping us revolutionize in technology, helping make people's jobs and lives easier is what it should be. Now, what corporations will do with it, probably something different. And well, we're kind of starting to see that. So if you've been following the news, GPUs have been just high in price forever now since COVID. And some of that remaining high in cost is because of these AI super mega center server rack room things that all these companies are creating, these mega server farms.
Mm-hmm.
And to process all these prompts and things, which when you think about it, someone was saying earlier, they were like, we're wasting the AI, which is causing our power costs to go up, which is costing our GPU prices to go up. So your individual price for your energy and stuff is you're subsidizing these companies having these server farms. Your energy costs are going up.
Yeah.
So that people can prompt dumb things, meaning even just the little like browser where you type in a search and it gives you kind of like a summary of it. You're utilizing all of this GPU power and energy to create these summaries for something like, I don't know, what's better brand of cranberry sauce, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to run an AI summary off of that, which is going to be powered by an AI server farm. And, so like we're using it for a lot of stuff that you probably don't need AI for because everyone decided to plug it into everywhere. And now, Jill, now I'm mad. Now I'm ready for war because they raised the prices of RAM like
500%. Yes.
So put this in perspective. I got 32 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM for this new build, thankfully. right before all this happened. I remember my wife had to pick it up because the RAM I got from Newegg was bad. And so she went to Best Buy and grabbed some RAM. And of course, we paid a little bit more for it. And I think it was around $200, a little less than $200.
Yeah.
Right now, Jill, what would that run? Around $400
Right.
to
$4 to $5.
$500.
Yes.
Meaning now your RAM is the cost of a GPU.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And the GPUs have already been just astronomical, ridiculous. Now, this is mostly for DDR5, but DDR4 RAM's more expensive too somehow. Because I guess people are like buying as much as they can or something's happening. So now we're subsidizing the RAM costs for this AI to tell me what brand of cranberry sauce is best. So, Jill, what are your thoughts on this? Because I don't know really what people can do at this point. AI is basically going rogue. No one can stop it. No one can get in its way, but it's costing us. Like the businesses are passing these costs to the consumers. And so my energy bill's going up. My cost to get any components is getting to the point where it's just ludicrous. Like, what are your thoughts on this? This is terrible.
So that's what Micron is stopping. They're stopping selling RAM to the consumer. That's definitely a problem for us. And it means less competition in the market, which is really sad.
It is. I mean, it's kind of like when we lost EVGA to making video cards because they were the best in a lot of ways. And this is probably worse because EVGA was kind of a issue where they weren't getting the models ahead of time and blah, 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 blah. It was kind of a battle with NVIDIA, whereas this is supply and demand, and the demand is in this AI bubble. And I 100% believe it's a bubble. I believe this bubble is going to pop and people are going to be left holding the ball. And the people who are going to be left holding the ball are you, the consumers, and your 401ks probably. We're all going to be left holding the ball because the markets will crash when they realize, like, hey, like where is the money that's coming into these? I see all the money going out on this AI thing, but where's all the money that's coming in that's supposed to fund all of this? Right now, all these companies are in the red. And then I hear that like they're going IPO. I hear that we have an IPO for Claude coming. I hear we have an IPO for ChatGPT coming, and they're going to be valued at $8 trillion when they bring in almost no revenue in comparison to what they're spending. And then I've even seen analysis, Jill, where they're talking about the fact that they can't even understand financial analysts can't understand how they're even going to pay for these gigantic giga centers that they're building. Like there's no amount of subscriptions that would equate to this. So either they're going to create the cure for cancer and other things that are going to allow them to be able to make a worldwide impact in the amount of money that they're bringing in, or this thing's going to explode in everyone's face in a really big way. I don't know what I'm rooting for, Jill, because I want my RAM prices down. So well, I know there's been so much work on switching, the workloads to GPU, of course. And those were, very expensive. And now we have RAM even more expensive. So now they're going to want to run more GPU workloads to make up for the price of RAM going up so much. It's going to get to a point where you're not going to be able to afford a machine. We're going to go back to the days where you're just going to have a station that allows you to log into the internet to utilize GPT because you won't have money for anything else. You won't be able to afford it. You'll get a 4 gigabyte RAM little box that you and a keyboard and mouse, and then you can get online and that's your computer because who's going to be able to afford them very much longer? It's a weird world. I would love to get y'all's comments. Send them to us. Let me know what you think about this AI. Is AI a bubble? I want to know what you guys think about that. Or is this thing really going to change the world like people think? That's what would be interesting. All right. Now that I've taken you down in the pit, Jill, let's bring your energy back up. We're going to do my gift giving guide. Every year I do a gift giving guide because
you
let's
do.
face it, geeks aren't easy to shop for. So my goal is to give a range of items from $0 to you must have a rich spouse or family to get. So you're going to have the whole range here. And of course, the holidays, Jill, are not about getting gifts. People get that confused all the time. They think, oh, it's all about the gifts. That's not what the holidays are about. The holidays are about getting good gifts.
Getting good gifts
That's
and
right.
giving good gifts.
That's right. See, that's what the holiday spirit is about. People don't understand that. And even if your family are not listeners of the show, shame on them. This is still your opportunity to play this section for them loud and proud in a car. So they're captive and have to listen. And if you're one of those people who are currently captive here, just know it's likely because you're terrible at giving gifts and your spouse is trying to make you a better person. So you're welcome. All right, let's get into it. So my first idea for a fantastic gift for a geek is the Flipper Zero.
Absolutely. That's a good one.
Yes, the Flipper Zero is this little device right here. It's a portable multi-tool for pen testers and just geeks. And it's in a toy-like body. Like you would think this is just like a little, I don't know, what were those little emoji things where you'd feed the little pet on the screen and whatever those things were called.
Not the Digimon.
Yeah, but like that, like a little digital characters. It's like that. Very, very cool little device. It loves hacking stuff, radio protocols, access control systems, hardware. You can clone RFID on here. So, like I cloned the pool pass for our neighborhood on this little device because I don't want to carry around a pool pass. What if I lose it? Well, I've got it all recorded right here on this little device. Now, this little thing costs about $200. But if you're a geek or your geek is into hacking or cybersecurity or anything like that, to me, this is a no-brainer. It's such a cool little versatile device, and I think they'll absolutely love it. But it's a little on the pricey side. So
yeah, it it is. But you remember something, Ryan? Our young one, Frederick, who actually we gave a Raspberry Pi 5 to at the Southern California Linux Expo. He learned Linux, a lot of Linux because of the Flipper Zero.
Yeah.
So
he even had it walking around and he was showing all the cool things it could do, which got me into getting one. So Frederick, thank you for that, because you're one of the big inspirations for this little device. I hadn't even heard about it until then. Now it's become a lot more popular, but back then it was kind of one of those underground little devices that a lot of people hadn't heard about. So it's very cool. Definitely something to add to your geeks gift list. Nobody likes boring old gift cards. We want gift cards that can fill our brains. And I found out that Hack the Box has gift cards.
That's awesome.
And I know a lot of people are interested in cybersecurity, which is what I'm focused on right now, because we're all looking at everything going on in the world going, hey, something's got to give. This AI, all of this company breaches, all of this privacy stuff. There's so many things going on. And Hack the Box is kind of it's like a standard place for cybersecurity training. I want to say everyone on Reddit, wherever you're at, is going to recommend like, hey, go to Hack the Box, see if it's something you really enjoy. There's all kinds of different training and even swag they have out there. It's anything. If your geek is in the cybersecurity or privacy, they're going to enjoy these classes and they get to fill their brain at the same time. And it's a gift card. So, you could choose the amount that you want to give on there and they can get some courses and things. I would love that as a gift. Jill, if you're thinking about gifts for me.
That's a good one for you.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. All right, good. See, I'm helping Jill be a good gift giver too this year. Jill's always a good gift giver.
Aw. So, Ryan, there are some other great options that don't require any extra money.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, how about as someone who enjoys writing a short story with your loved one as a main character can melt the heart?
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I like that.
And make you stand out amongst your friends.
Very much so. Yeah.
Also, if you have a 3D printer, 3D prints, something they love, like a TV show character, a movie, a video game, or just make them something that's cool to put on their desk.
A Rocktopus. This is the Rock wrestler as an octopus that's 3D printed. Look at that. I mean, why would you not want to give that gift to someone?
Octopus.
That's
Well,
right.
I'm going to show you this awesome controller holder.
Oh, that's
that
way
you
better
can
than the,
print.
well, maybe it's not better than the octopus because octopus is hard to beat, but that's pretty cool, Jill. That's pretty dope. I like that one.
You can use it for a cell phone holder as well.
I like it. Yeah, if you have access to a 3D printer, there's really the world's the limit on type of things that you can do. You can do desk organizers for them. Really anything that you would get from Temu, you could just 3D print yourself. Obviously, it's not free. You've got the filament and you have to have had a 3D printer, but I mean, a 3D printer would be a great gift too. But I've seen people make incredible desk organizers and stuff at work for putting all their pencils, pens, even monitor stands, everything being done through a 3D printer. So
yeah, it's amazing.
Really cool idea there. I think a custom game, puzzle, or program written for someone in Python would be an amazing gift as well. Like, I love the custom stuff. I know that this would mean a lot to me because I know how much work goes into that. And frankly, we're talking about AI, you could vibe code a lot of it as well. You could, vibe code your way to a marriage proposal, maybe by making your loved one a custom game where at the end you get to propose to them. That's really cute.
Great idea. Do you know, Ryan, I used to make animations for my family when I was a little kid.
That's awesome.
That
would be super special.
Some of them were stop motion with an old camera from the 70s. And then as I got older in the 80s, I was using computer.
That would be beautiful. Absolutely. So there's a lot of things you can do for free. Even taking your loved ones to a park, having a nice picnic, those type of things. It doesn't have to be some, elaborate, expensive gift and things, especially with the economy the way it is. A lot of people are probably looking for ways to give gifts because you still want to have something special, let people know you appreciate them without, spending a ton of money that you may not have. I think another great gift, it's a little bit expensive, more expensive nowadays than it used to be, depending on which version you get, but Raspberry Pi is always going to be on my list. I mean, Raspberry Pi, you could do everything with it, right? Your geek could create a Pi hole for a lot more privacy and security while you're browsing. You can create all kinds of custom hacking machines with them. An Octopi for their 3D printer through a Raspberry Pi. You can create digital mirrors. It's really endless. You could do anything with these little devices. The Pi 5 costs about $145, I saw. Man.
Yeah.
The price of RAM and everything, I guess, is just creeping up there.
The prices of the Raspberry Pis are going up because of that. But in fact, they just launched a 1 gigabyte version of the Raspberry Pi 5 for $45.
Ooh, that's a great one.
Yeah. So that's great, for smaller projects like, testing temperatures of plants or something that doesn't require a lot of memory, but you want a little horsepower for.
Yeah.
That's a good option.
I like that. That's a great find there. And they also have the zeros and things for even smaller projects if they're wanting to do something portable or whatnot. But Raspberry Pi, always, not the actual Pi, although those may be delicious. They're actually a little single board computer since, we could have all kinds of different levels of people listening here for this episode. Something super creative I thought about was a framework laptop. Now, those can be very expensive, but what a great gift. But instead, if you want to save on some of the money, but give them a cool project to work on, you can actually just buy the framework main board since they actually sell them separately on their site. And then pick up a nice, transparent case, like a Leon Lee, Cooler Master, whatever. And they can make their own custom frameworks machine, like a Hacka framework. They have the Hackintosh, HackaWorks. Yes. You can HackaWorks your framework machine, which I think is super dope. I was looking at this going, I think I might want to do this. I don't have a need for one, but I'll come up with an excuse. This will run you around $300 to $800. I was looking at their main boards. They have a whole different plethora of ones in there. So you don't need to go out on this. I think that it would be a cool and fun project though. And, you get them the parts and they can keep adding to it. And hopefully, you don't have to buy any separate RAM at any point.
Yeah.
Because
you can make your own Steam Deck or your own Steam machine with one of those motherboards.
Good point, Jill. Good point. And hey, if money's not an option, well, add me to your gift giving list and send me a 9070 XT. Yes, that's what I want. For all the listeners out there, I know you're thinking, man, I really want to get something for Ryan. The 9070 XT would be it. So I think you want to match their computer build by checking on their components, whether they're white or black. Mine's all white build, by the way, in case you want to send me the ASRock Steel Series White 9070 XT. This will run you between $600 and $800 currently. By the time this comes out, it could be $10,000 to $20,000. Who knows? Because that's what's happening with computer prices right now.
Yeah.
But there's that. I think just real quick, a couple other options. The pencil, which is a Pine 64 soldering iron, which Jill, you have one of those. It's really cool, inexpensive. It uses RISC-V sock on it, which is super, super cool. And it heats up really fast. So really cool soldering iron from a really great company. I think the gift of sound is always going to be on my list. So the Sony WH-1000XM6s, I think, set the standard right now. Sony's just killed it. Like, if you want an overall solid sound stage, value for your money, there are better sounding, there are more expensive ones, but I think really the perfect medium of sound and cost is with Sony right now.
Yeah, and they've been on sale a lot too. I've noticed those headphones have been on sale a lot.
You pick them up for a Black Friday deal or something. I think they run about $300 currently, but you also have the WH-CH720Ns, which are the value version, and they're just under $100, which you can pick up by Sony. I don't know why they named their products so crappily, but
I know.
That's what it is. So WH-1000XM6 or the WH-CH720Ns, both fantastic sound. And let's be honest, what every geek wants that listens to this show, without a doubt, is the Steam machine.
Absolutely.
The problem is it's not out yet.
Yeah.
And based on this RAM thing, it could be a lot more expensive than we're expecting.
Yeah.
But what if, Jill, you were so amazing as a gift giver, so unbelievably awesome that you wanted to ease their burden of the cost? So you get them a Steam gift card that's ready to go so they can pre-order their Steam machine or Steam frame or Steam controller the moment it drops. And I thought that is the perfect gift, right?
It is. It is the perfect gift. And a small Steam gift card just for games is great too.
Of course. But I'm like, hey, even if it's $50, $25, anything that you can take off the cost of that is going to be welcome for them. So, and they'll know you've been listening to them talk about and drool about the Steam machine when you get them that card and say, hey, this is what you can apply to that. And you're right, Jill, they'll probably just end up spending it on games they don't need on a Steam sale, but that's kind of how things go sometimes. All right, so that's my gift giving guide for 2025. Write us, let us know if you have some additional thoughts or ideas on gifts. Right now, Jill, it's time for you to tell us another, of course you have, Jill, story.
Yeah. Aw. So I have been excited about, and I knew that one of the most well-known tech YouTubers, Linus Sebastian from Linus Tech Tips, was meeting with Linus Torvalds, creator of Linux. And, I've been watching Linus Tech Tips, the WAN show on Fridays, every Friday for years, where over several episodes, Linus Sebastian talked about his upcoming meeting with Linus Torvalds, and the video they were making together, it would soon be released. Well, I went into the WAN show YouTube live chat when Linus excitedly announced he was in contact with the other Linus, or our hero, Linus Torvalds, and was going to do a new PC build with him and
for him. That's amazing. Like, I thought this was such a clever way of doing an interview. To both build him a machine, but also get a chance to ask questions about, different various things. So very exciting. Yeah.
So I had mentioned in the WAN show chat that I had the honor of talking to Linus Torvalds for 20 minutes at the Open Source Summit here in Los Angeles in September of 2017.
Of course you have, Jill. Of course you have. Oh, you got your
Yes,
hat. Yeah.
I do, because I fangirled hard, Ryan, and was squeeing to see my Linux hero on stage and was wearing my penguin hat like I am right now, and I do at the Southern California Linux Expo every year. And I was in the front row squeeing as Linus was doing his keynote speech at OSS Summit. And he noticed me immediately.
Because you were squealing. Of course he
Yes.
noticed you. He's like, what is that sound coming from over there? That's so cute. I love it.
And he loved my hat.
Yeah.
So, but I kept my composure. And after Linus's keynote speech, several of the Linux Foundation workers came over to me and brought me to him to talk to him behind the stage.
You are so spoiled, Jill. You're so spoiled. Oh my gosh. Of course you have.
Yeah. And I was extremely excited and nervous, but kept my composure. And, I had an incredible conversation with him about how I had downloaded and used an early version of Linux from me and my brother's BBS back in 1992. And Linus, I remember the first words he said to me, "Wow, you are one of the early beta testers. Pleased to meet you."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And he was also impressed that my organization, Linux Chicks Los Angeles, was still doing hands-on Linux Install Fest, because that's a dying breed. And
Yeah.
we still do those occasionally.
Yeah.
And, he was just so gracious and kind. And I felt like we were just two geeks chatting together.
Oh.
Yeah. And
there's the picture.
yeah,
How
I have
sweet.
a wonderful picture of me and him together. And everyone said that it was awesome that I even got Linus to smile, because
Well, how can you not smile around you, Jill? Like, I get that. That is nice, though. That's really nice. That's a great picture, too.
yeah, it turned out
Did
good.
Steve take that picture?
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
He wasn't there. That was one of the Linux Foundation workers, and they were using my WebOS Palm Pre 3.
No
take it.
kidding.
Yes.
Man, this photo's awesome on multiple levels now. So this is the Palm Pre WebOS, which needs to come back, and Linus Torvalds. Now, since we may have new listeners in there, people may be like, who's Linus Torvalds? Well, they're the creator of the Linux kernel.
Yes.
And without it, we don't really have an interesting show now, do we? And in addition, they also created Git.
Yes.
So you've got two of the technologies that have changed the world in many ways, all from one person, Linus Torvalds.
Yeah.
Big deal. Kind of a big deal. Not as big as Jill, but close.
Just slightly.
Yeah, close. That's all.
Linus Torvalds has changed the world.
It's true.
And I even more, I have to say, than Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, because Linux, it's the biggest operating system in the world, and it's in all our devices, the Internet of Things, it's in the cloud, it's on their desktops, it's everywhere, and it has penetrated everything.
It's true. I mean, you look at how Microsoft changed their stance on Linux the moment they could make $1 bajillion off them. Now, Microsoft makes more money off of their servers that run Linux than they do their operating system Windows.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Linux changed the world for sure. But I think the most fascinating thing, Jill, is that Linus had the opportunity to be a billionaire too.
Yeah, he did. And he decided, no, I want to be a developer. I want to work on the kernel. That's all I care about. I don't care about fame and fortune.
It's so bizarre in this world.
Yeah.
To see somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who could have at any point, because sure, it's easy to say right at this moment he could have been a billionaire, but at any point he could have made hundreds of millions. So as he created this thing and it was free, kind of like what ChatGPT did with OpenAI, where they started as open source, and then the second they saw what they had, what did they do? They closed sourced it so they could make $1 bajillion off of it. And Linus at no point even seeing how popular it was becoming, said, you know what, I'm going to close source this now and I'm going to make $1 bajillion. Jill, that character trait,
yeah,
it doesn't exist in most of the population that's left.
no, he's a real nerd. He's a real computer nerd and geek like us, who just loves to geek out, and the fame and fortune is not necessarily something that matters so much.
The character it takes to
We're
do
grounded.
that.
We're
Yeah. Well, you keep saying we're, and I would love to believe, Jill, that I would have this thing that would be worth billions of dollars that I would be like, I'm going to keep giving it to the world for free. I would love to say that is the Ryan that would do that.
Okay.
But I don't know.
You don't know. You might want all the money, huh?
I want all the money. Like, what if Michael AI takes off, Jill? What if Michael AI becomes the greatest AI ever written? All 100 lines of Python code that I have there, and it starts being worth billions of dollars. Do I close source it suddenly? I would like to think I wouldn't, Jill, but I really want people to think about this particular thing, because that's what makes Linus so special. To me, it's not just special that he created something a lot of people use. There's a lot of people who create amazing things all the time. What's amazing is that he had something that he believed in, and the money didn't change who he was at any point.
Exactly.
And that makes him one of the most unique human beings to ever be in tech.
Yeah. And one of the most giving and humble.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I wanted to continue a little bit more about the WAN show, because there's something special.
What happened?
That. Okay. So in chat of the WAN show, Linus Tech Tips, the WAN show podcast, after I briefly mentioned that I had the honor to talk to Linus Torvalds, many people in chat actually pinged me and said I was so lucky to meet Linus, and they wished they could. And then several people in chat wrote, "Oh, that is Jill from Destination Linux podcast, and to watch my show." Yeah. And I never thought I would get a shout out in the WAN show chat.
Of course, we're everywhere.
Thousands of people.
We're huge, Jill. Let's close source this baby and make millions, shouldn't we? Oh.
This was the first time, because I've gone in chat before, and my chats would be ignored, but that day, all the Linux people were in there.
It's kind of crazy how popular this show's gotten. I was walking through the store not too long ago, and this person's like staring at me, and I'm like, what are you staring at? And my wife's like, hey, you don't know, they could be like a fan of the show. And sure enough, like 20 minutes later, they get up enough gumption to come over and be like, hey, are you DasGeek from the Destination Linux show? And I'm like, yeah. And we had this great conversation. So my point is, like, I'm not even used to the fact that this show has gotten so popular, but it's cool to go in a random YouTuber's, I
know, especially one of the biggest in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And then get that kind of like, oh, that's Jill from Destination Linux. Well, of course it is. So, Jill, what do you think? We close source this, we make billions. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
No? Okay. All right, fine.
We're at the ground level where Windows 10 has been deprecated, so we're going to get lots of new users.
Oh, so many new listeners. We're gonna rake in tens of dollars in this show. Tens of dollars.
Well, I just really, with all that whole situation, I found it amazing that it has taken the mainstream TechTuber community and their fans this long to even notice Linux.
Yeah.
We've been strong for a long time, but it's just because now the big TechTubers are covering it, and because of thank goodness we have Valve to thank, and the Steam Deck and the Steam Machine and gaming on Linux. Oh, that's
in this show.
And this show, and how Linux is now a first-class citizen in operating systems and in gaming. Anyways, I just wanted to say what a wonderful time we live in. Linux has won. We have won. So much so that Linus Torvalds was on a video with Linus Tech Tips, and it's called Linus X Linus, Building the Perfect Linux PC with Linus Torvalds.
So awesome. So super
Make sure to
awesome.
go watch it.
Yeah.
Again, um, Linus Torvalds is shy. He's humble and not generally a people person, but I find his sense of humor extremely charming. He rarely does interviews and public speaking and does not use social media, which I admire about him.
Yeah.
And so Linus Torvalds flying to the Linus Tech Tips YouTube studio in Canada to do a video with Linus Tech Tips was a rare treat. And meeting with someone with his first name for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting coincidence. And I love they played the Highlander thing off of each other, which was
Exactly.
super cute.
Yes.
It made tons of sense. And I think Linus Torvalds, when I watched the video, was the one who recommended that. Like he
Yeah.
wanted the
He
Highlander
was
theme.
Yeah, he said either that or Mad Max.
Ah, that's so great. I love it.
That's really cool. And I think, Linus Sebastian actually did a fairly good job not fangirling throughout the whole
Oh,
video,
Jill,
which
he
it was
fangirled
hard
so
not.
hard. He
I know.
fangirled so hard.
And what was cool is he told Linus Torvalds that he knew Linus hated fangirling, but when he did, Linus Torvalds came back and said, "And you think I'm the awkward one?" Well,
That's great.
I just have definitely gotta put some of my favorite sentences in here, my
Yeah,
favorite
for
quotes,
sure.
because there were some amazing ones. And I was so happy that Linus Sebastian got Linus Torvalds to sign his autobiography just for fun, the story of an accidental revolutionary. I have 2 copies of Linus's
Of course you do, Jill.
autobiography book. I bought it when it was brand new from Borders bookstore.
Wow.
And I was really happy that Linus Sebastian not only read it and let Linus Torvalds sign it in the video, but I think it was wonderful that Linus Torvalds signed it to fake Linus from the real one. And I was just
Oh,
through the whole video, Ryan, how Linus Torvalds cheekily teases
yeah.
Linus Sebastian and calls him fake Linus.
He has a very good dry sense of humor, which, we all
Yeah.
kind of knew he had. And we also know he has a temper at times
Yes.
and that kind of dry, but that's what's appealing about him, right? That's what makes him
Yeah.
human.
Yeah.
I love it.
And of course, for Linus, his new build, they went with an AMD Ryzen Threadripper
Proper.
9980X CPU with 64 cores.
That's going to compile the kernel really fast, Jill.
Really well.
Really fast.
But what was interesting, Ryan, is Linus Torvald said he didn't want it to be crazy high end. I mean, he could have gotten something even higher end with more cores because he wanted it to be quiet and reliable for
Smart.
compiling that kernel.
Yeah.
And I also love that Linus Torvalds wanted and needed ECC RAM or error correcting code RAM for stability and kernel compiling. Honestly, most of my life I have used workstation class computers with ECC RAM to render animation. So I knew Torvalds loved the ECC RAM, but it was nice to hear him talk about it.
So, Jill,
live on a video.
This is really interesting too, because ECC RAM is not, well, nobody can afford RAM anymore. But back in the day when we could afford RAM, ECC RAM is not something you would typically, a consumer is going to go out there and buy. So if you're going to the store and you're picking up Corsair Vengeance, you're probably not going to have ECC on there, though there might be some. A lot of it depends on your motherboard. And interestingly enough, AMD actually does have a lot of motherboards that do support it with their consumer motherboards, whereas Intel hasn't traditionally. There's some, but it's a lot more, which is surprising because Intel over the years has kind of been, they were king for a while.
Yeah.
And they were both the king in the server world and in the consumer world. But it's not a typical, what I'm getting at is not a typical thing that you'll find in most computers. You'll find it in most professional workstations and things like that, servers, but not in generally in consumer. You can, but it's not a general thing.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
So true. And also for those that want a high-end gaming machine, it's not necessarily the fastest for gaming, for
Correct.
moving the bits around, although it has improved significantly.
Yeah. It's really for auto-correcting data corruption and things like that. So it's very good, reliable memory. Not so much known for its super speed. Yeah.
So something I did learn, Ryan, from the video about Linus Torvalds and Linus Sebastian, Linus Torvalds doesn't do backups. Oh,
What?
that
whole
was
time
amazing to hear that.
we're on the show, he doesn't do
Yes.
backups.
And we preach, 3 backups of everything.
That's right.
Well, there is a good reason why. He lets the cloud and the internet take care of it. After all, the internet runs on Linux with millions of backups.
I laughed so hard at this part, Jill.
No.
So basically he was like, I don't have to do a backup because if it's worth creating, I put it out there and give it to the world and they back it up for me. And I thought,
Yeah.
okay, but what's he do with all the pictures of his food and all? Oh, wait, he doesn't have social media. So he doesn't take pictures of his food and stuff. Like I was kind of jealous of his life.
Yeah.
Like he has found a way to keep himself separate from all of the stupid
all the memes.
memes
He didn't know any of the memes.
Yeah, he didn't know any of the memes. He's kept himself isolated. And Jill, there may be something to that.
Yeah.
Like that isolation may be the very reason, him staying away from all the mainstream nonsense, news, all that crap. Maybe the reason why he was willing to continue to give this project to the world for free and anything he creates for free, because he didn't get caught up in the manipulation, the mind scrambling rot that is social media and all the other stuff. I don't know, just a thought, but I loved the way he said, if it's worth backing up, I'm going to put it on the internet, give it to the world, and they'll back it up for me. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So brilliant.
I thought that was awesome. And I really thought it was awesome that Linus Tech Tips was taking questions from his community to ask Linus Torvalds as they are building Torvalds' computer. And most of the information was stuff that us Linux geeks already know.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorites was Linus Sebastian asked Linus Torvalds, "What brought you here?" And Linus Torvalds responds, "Sometimes it feels good to be the smartest person in the room."
Oh my God.
They both laugh.
Yep.
I just love their back and forth.
It was very, very cute. Yeah. I liked it.
Very fun. And another one was Linus Torvalds was asked, "Is it GIF or GIF?"
And obviously it's GIF,
Well, Linus originally said no, he said it's GIF. And then he came back, he said, no, I am kidding. It is GIF.
Man, Linus can be wrong. It's obviously GIF. I honestly don't. I think I call it GIF too. I think it's GIF. Yeah. What, Jill, do you think it's GIF or GIF? For the record.
Oh, GIF, definitely. It's
don't say definitely. There's no definitely here. What do you mean?
Graphics interchange format. It's a hard G.
Oh, dang. You throwing the professor slap in my face. You're bringing Jill brought receipts. I love it. All right. GIF it is, Jill. GIF it is. All right.
So, and I actually have read and heard Linus Torvalds, his take on AI. So when he was asked, he responded by saying, AI isn't as revolutionary as people make it out to be. And AI, but it will be a tool that will make people more productive.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of feels about it like me and you do, where it's not necessarily revolutionary, but it will help us. And
it's interesting because I felt like and I may be wrong about this, the community will let me know, but I seem to remember at some point him giving a quote. Maybe it wasn't him, where he was a little more hard on AI. Like he didn't feel like it was really going to do anything. And it seemed like his approach softened a little bit to, okay, there's some usefulness to it, but it's not what everybody thinks it's going to be. I think that was him. I might be confusing two people, but either way, I thought he had a very balanced approach to
Yeah.
his thoughts on AI. And it's kind of where
Me
I'm
too.
landing right now,
Yeah.
which is I like it. I don't think it's what the companies are making it out to be, but it's still going to change a lot of things, including RAM prices, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all.
Better.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to talk about their discussion about gaming a little bit.
Okay.
So, uh, uh, Linux Linus states, if you're a teenager and you're into computers, you will make a game. That is what you do. And Linus Tech Tips responded, no, he didn't. And then Linus Torvalds then states, if you are competent and into computers, you will make a game. He then laughs and pats Linus Tech Tips on the shoulder. I just
Yeah. They did so good.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a video out there where I kind of give Linus and MKBHD a little bit of a beat down. And the reason I do is because they have so much pull in the tech sector. And a lot of times they're not covering some of the things I think are critical to the consumer: repairability and
Yeah.
privacy and security. So they'll talk about a new phone or something like that, but they don't talk about the things that people need to be thinking about when they're looking at a device. And a lot of novice beginners, people who aren't even in hardware, will go to those channels just to see what these people think and then go buy it. So
Yeah.
I think when you get a channel that's that big, you have to start asking yourself, like, are you really representing the consumer well? And I think Linus doesn't always do that. And MKBHD, same thing. With that
Yeah.
being said, videos like this are
Wonderful.
they're
Yeah.
wonderful, and they are world changing in a way that
Yeah.
Linus is now introducing millions of people to something that in a person that they may have never heard about before. And he did it in such a brilliant, friendly, and kind way. And I was just very impressed with it. And I think he did a fantastic job. I couldn't be more proud of, the fact we represent Linux after seeing Linus on that show. Like, it was like, what a great person.
And he talked about how he watches YouTubers and podcasters. So I'm hoping
We know we're one of them.
Yeah.
Listen, we
And
need you to come on the show. Like, you think you had fun there. Wait till you come on this show. Then you have some fun. We'll have
real Linux geeks.
That's right.
Yeah. And the other thing about gaming that I learned about Linus Torvalds is he likes playing the game Horizon Zero Dawn.
Which is a very cool game.
It's an awesome game.
Yeah.
And Linus Tech Tips, actually, his response was, well, that was the first game I played all the way through on Linux. So
Oh, wow.
that was special.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, regarding the GPU that they put in his machines, Linus Torvald states, I famously was not a huge fan of NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Y'all know this.
There's a picture with a middle finger that goes along with that. He called NVIDIA out.
So here's what I was excited about. Linus Torvalds chose an Intel Arc B580 GPU, similar to the Intel Arc A770 I am using right now in my podcast.
Which one's more powerful, Jill?
It's there have been some of the benchmarks have been one for the older one and some for the newer one.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I was a genuine question because I haven't followed Intel's Arc's latest lineup, but their naming convention, B580 or A770, kind of confusing, right? Because you would think, well, automatically the 770 is going to be better than the 580, but it's a B in front of it now. So it's a B580. So it's the newest generation of the Intel Arc. It's interesting. I really want Intel to be successful with the Arc, and
Me too.
I think it's a big deal that he chose the Arc, because a lot of people, a lot of Linux geeks, are going to be like, I want to be like Linus and have one of those too. Look, we may, based on the GPU prices and RAM prices, that may be the only GPUs any of us can get soon.
Yeah, exactly. Well, as you were saying earlier, Ryan, actually the Intel Arc B580 is honestly a faster GPU, but there are still some workloads that the A7070 is better
Probably
at.
more driver related or maybe
Yeah.
something along those lines. I'll have to
Yeah.
do some more research on that. Now I'm
But
interested
so
in the
cool.
Intel Arc. See what happened? See?
Yeah.
Now I want one. I want
Yeah,
it.
and I was so happy that
Yeah.
that he chose the Intel Arc because I've been loving it and using mine since it first came out.
Yep.
So
And Intel's been a huge
Mhm.
and first responder, or I'm sorry, not responder, but user of Linux, meaning they wrote their drivers for Linux. They were one of the first ones to
Exactly.
make everything compatible with Linux. So I love Intel, and I hope they have a comeback story soon.
Yeah. And one of the other cool things that happened in the video, and I thought this was so sweet, because even though they were, having matches with humor and jokes and teasing each other, Linus Torvalds gave Linus Tech Tips a really nice compliment. He said, "You are a groundbreaking YouTuber. That is what the message is here. You are changing the world." And how
Mm,
sweet for the father of Linux to be
yeah.
saying this to a YouTuber, you know?
Yeah.
But Linus Tech Tips has changed the world as far as tech tubers
He
go,
did. Yeah. He set
He
a lot
did.
of
He
standards.
changed the
Yep.
world. Yeah. Yeah, so that was awesome. And I also love at the end of the video, Linus Tech Tip says, "This was amazing. This vastly exceeded my expectations. This was so cool. Thank you so much on behalf of me and the audience." And
Oh,
Linus said, "I really enjoyed it too."
very cool. I recommend people go check out that video. There's so much more in there. Jill did a brilliant job covering some of the highlights and special moments in there. But overall, it's just an amazingly fun video. And like I said, what I think impressed me more than anything is just thinking about what I think Linus even asked him at some point. Did you ever think about making millions or something along those
Yeah.
lines?
Yeah.
And so, just a lot of character that you don't often see these days that was displayed in there. So amazing video, definitely worth checking out. Well, there you have it. Jill and I's second episode ever together, right after the holidays. I hope all of you had an amazing holiday with your family and friends.
Yeah.
Were able to spend some time where you needed to spend it, even if it was alone time, getting some code out there to change the world. And a huge thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us by watching or listening Destination Linux. However you do it, we love your faces. You can join us on our Discord by going to tuxdigital.com/Discord. And if you want to support this show, well, go out there and buy some awesome merch that we have.
Yeah.
You can get the Jill shirt. You can get the Destination Linux shirts. You can get the DasGeek stuff out there. All kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah. And make sure to check out our other amazing shows here on Tux Digital. We have an entire network of shows to fill your whole week with geeky goodness. Head to tuxdigital.com to keep those Linux penguins marching and watch Ryan's Darkenstein 3D game streams live on Sunday mornings or afternoons on his DasGeek YouTube channel, or the VODs later.
Yep.
And the other awesome videos he has released recently on his channels, like his The Two-Faced Partner, how Mozilla sold out Firefox's privacy mission. That's a
Ooh, it
good
was a
one.
deep. Oh,
Watch
thank you, Jill. I appreciate that.
that.
All right, everybody, have an amazing week. And remember that the journey itself is just as important as the destination. Thanks, everyone.
Love
We
you.
did it, Jill. And OBS Ninja. We're
Yes,
open
we
sourced
did.
it.
Yes.
Ah, man. Hopefully the quality is as good as it can be. This will be a game changer if we can get all of this working and functioning in the ways that we have Riverside and some of the other stuff. Obviously, those are easier to use, but this is open source.
Yeah. And this has more options that you can edit and
That's
control.
more things. Yeah. There's a lot more things. We're gonna figure stuff out, Jill. We're gonna become experts. We're gonna be the
Yes,
best.
we are.
Together.
Journey.
We're gonna be the very best, the pinnacle. All right, everyone. See you next week.